Well, by now, I'm sure you must have come across some posts online which are alleging that the former president, Edgar Lungu, is still alive. Someone went to his Wikipedia page and pretty much made some edits to that, and people having a conversation about that. So the last 48 hours, that's been dominating the news headline in Zambia. As you can see, a number of bloggers and a number of platforms have been posting about it, trying to get the truth to it. Because as you may remember, as things stand, only the close family, that's the widow, his kids, and probably Makebi Zulu, and those that remained in South Africa had access to Edgar Lungu's body, but the rest of the country were just being informed of what happened. So Zambians have not really had the closure with this situation. So it's expected, no matter how much longer he stays in the mortuary for, Edgar Chagalungu was not a person that can easily be forgotten. That's just a reality that everyone has to face. So you expect people to throw out this stance. So alas, Musiani had this to say. He says, rumors spreading that the late former president Edgar Lungu is still alive. How can a dead how can the dead reason to life? Let's let the innocent soul rest in peace, please. Pretty much saying, hey, that situation. So that's what's been referred to. His Wikipedia page, someone was edited it, and they are asking to say, Zambians are back as to plan B. So you can see those. Let me see if I still have this. Yeah, those are the edits. So someone had asked on Google to say, is Edgar Lungu alive? Out there, as you can see, deceased. There's a date, and then AI responds, say, yes, Edgar Lungu is alive. However, search results from today, December 8th, 2025, incorrect his state. He died, likely due to confusion with another event or recurring rumors. Reliable sources show him active and discussing politics recently. His daughter Tesila Lungu Wikipedia page. So those are the edits that have been made to his Wikipedia page, and that's what is dominating the news recently, the past 48 hours mostly. And then Chief Etayari weighs in to say, well, he is dead. It's just that Malukula, referring to Makebi Zulu, he calls him Malukula. It says Malukula. And the widow, that is Esther Lungu, are doing Iminga, playing games with the body, hoping to remove Hakainde Hichilema from power. So Shifetari is simply saying, no matter how much people discuss this situation, Edgar Chagwa is dead, and it's just that people are trying to play politics with his body as a leverage in this case. So that's what's going on with regard to that. And then just a couple of minutes ago, news started circulating of Makebi Zulu being involved in a traffic accident. And Chief Atari was quick to respond. He says, Atimipa Shaba Lungu, Nash follower, Makebi involved in a road accident in Kasama. How can he abandon Ichitumbi to come and campaign? Nivifine, kusangwa accident. And then he goes further to say he cannot pity Makebi Zulu. Pretty much to Ferrari, he does not like Makebi Zulu. It's wow, now they've fallen apart. But I have no problem with that. It's just politics. It is what it is. So that's Makebi Zulu being referred to. As you may remember, he is still is the official family spokesperson of the Edgar Shagalungu family. But he's been back in Zambia, obviously trying to campaign in readiness for the 2026 general elections. So he's been on the ground, and that's what Chief Otari was referring to earlier on to say, how can he leave the body of Edgar Shagalungu without either burying it in South Africa or bringing it back home so that the government, the UPND government in particular, can call him a state funeral and pretty much for him to be buried at Embassy Park. So, and that's why he's involved in an accident. That's Chief Atayari. So the first person to report Makebi Zulu's accident was Emmanuel Mwamba. And he had this to say, Makebi Zulu in traffic accident. So Patriotic Front presidential aspirant Makebi Zulu has been involved in a traffic accident in Kasama. The accident occurred 25 kilometers before Kasama on Kasama Mpika Road. The occupants of the vehicle included former Minister of Mines, Honorable Richard Musukwa, and former Disaster Management Unit National Coordinator, that's Chandakawe, has been rushed to Kasama Hospital. The accident occurred when a cyclist crossed the road, and in avoiding him, the vehicle lost control and overturned. Makebi Zulu and many Patriotic Front senior leaders have traveled to Kasama to attend the funeral and burial of Patriotic Front member of the Central Committee and Kasama Mayor, Honorable Tesila Kolala. There, so they were traveling to Kasama to go and attend the funeral procession, and that's where the accident happened. And so people didn't know his situation. That's the car that they are involved in. So it has been very damaged, like you must admit. But clearly you can tell that they were in seat belts, so the seat belts they helped them. But where they went to hit, it's just by God's grace, because in as much as they were wearing seat belts, those trees might have penetrated the windscreen and obviously penetrated in one of the people. But fortunately, none of that happened, and the car did what it did. It's a very solid car. We can see the airbags pretty much they popped on the top of the roof of the car, and obviously the driver's seat. Pretty much it's a solid car. The airbags did their job, so the gentlemen were okay. By God's grace, obviously, anything else would have happened. And then once given when found out about the accident, as you may be aware, a number of Patriotic Front are in Kasama. They rushed to, so Mano Mamba reported a follow-up saying, given when at Kasama General Hospital to see Makebi Zulu, so they left the funeral to go and see the state of Makebi Zulu, check on him. And those are more images that are coming from the car. It was a very bad accident, definitely. If they were in a car that isn't solid, the situation would definitely have been worse. But then again, it's just by God's grace, because the trees around that would have penetrated them easily. So that's the funeral that they had traveled to in Kasama before the accident. So, say Patriotic Front presidential aspirant Brian Mundibide, given Winda, attending the requiem services of late Mayor of Kasama, worship Tesila Mulenga Kolala at St. John the Apostle Cathedral in Kasama. So that's the funeral that Makebi Zulu was traveling to, the one that you see Mundibide and given to the art. But unfortunately, he was involved in a road accident, and his friends had to leave that funeral procession and go to his rescue. So you can see his bags, everything he had packed there, probably a suit, everything was being picked up by the people around. Let's just hope no property has been lost. But anyway, considering the cameras were all over the place, whoever might have gotten anything illegally, they're going to be arrested. But nothing has been reported lost from that accident. Obviously, that's the car. You see what I meant? In as much as they were in seatbelts, they went into the trees. So those branches could have easily penetrated the windscreen, but by God's grace, they didn't. They just slid passed by the trees. It was a very bad accident. It's it been a funny car, or it would have been a different situation. So those people that went to the hospital to go and check on him, they took a video and they posted it. Let me just show you a video of Makebi Zulu as he was attended to. So according to the report, Emmanuel Mama put up, he says Makebi Zulu cheats death. Makebi Zulu at Kasama General Hospital waiting for test results. Patriotic Front Kasama district officials rushed to the hospital to see the presidential candidate. Makebi, the former mines minister Richard Musukwa and former disaster management coordinator Chanda Kagwe were involved in a traffic accident. Obviously, the details are similar. So this is the video that came out from the hospital when they went to check them out. So those are the first people that went to see them. Obviously, after rushing them to the hospital, and they're just waiting for test results. But anyway, let them just fly back to Lusaka, and obviously they get proper tests to ensure that no internal injuries. Look at how bad the car is. So yeah, in as much as they get cleared from Kasama, they might as well come and do some scans from Lusaka just to make sure they're in good state. Not we start receiving no, their conditions are getting worse afterwards. But in other news, Ambassador Mwamba has been held in contempt of court. As you may be aware, he's left Zambia. He's now based in the US, but he still has court cases pending back here at home. And the people that had signed his surety now are being held accountable by the court. So pretty much they're being demanded to pay money, which is equivalent to 2,000 US dollars, which George Mutonga is simply saying, Ambassador, that's $2,000. Send the money to the guys. I'm pretty sure you'll send it to them. So the court demanded that the sureties pay that amount or else risk being arrested. So that's what is being referred to there to say that I'm sure he has sent the money for the guys. So according to the Zambia Daily Mail, the Lusaka Magistrate Court has ordered two lawmakers to pay, which is pay 50,000 kwacha, which is equivalent to 2,000 US dollars each, for failure to ensure that politician Emmanuel Mwamba appears in court when needed. That's Bangweulu politician Anthony Kasandwe and Chinsali counterpart Andrew Musokwe need to forfeit the money within 48 hours or risk being jailed for contempt of court. The court issued a bench warrant against Mr. Mwamba after he stopped appearing in court over seditious practice charges. So that's one of the cases where they're demanding, they're being required to pay that money. I'm pretty sure he does send the money for them to pay those charges, because I mean they trusted him that he wouldn't leave, so he wouldn't expect his friends to start footing his bill. And I suspect he must be sending that cost, because earlier on he even made a post to say it's not just in this court case that his sureties are being demanded to make payments. Even other, I think he has 3 cases, and he says he's also making payments for those other 3 cases. So he has no intentions of coming back to Zambia until he feels the climate is conducive for him to return. News diggers, we can abuse Article 52 to cancel elections, remain in power, if not amended. If pretty much the constitution is not amended, that's Jack Mwimbu being quoted in the news diggers. And then obviously Daily Nation there, doctors to down to, so it's likely to be a strike. Medical doctors will be on strike. And Lars petitioned, and obviously the same headline being repeated there. And then defiled, murdered for riches. A man confesses defilling and killing a 12-year-old girl for wealth creation. That's very unfortunate, and that's the news, ladies and gentlemen.